Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for coming here and joining me to explain you a little bit about the current situation on liquidity staking, especially concerning governance, and why we do believe that we need a decentralized governance approach, and we have to incentivize that, speaking a little bit about the whole ecosystem and how we have confronted the challenges that it poses. So I'm just going to speak a little bit, well, first, brief introduction about myself. And obviously, I had to explain you a little bit what are we doing, why I'm here speaking. And moreover, I think of all the points that I want you to, I want to touch today is why is this important for the whole ecosystem. Who I am. My name is Raul Calvo. Obviously, I'm coming from Spain. If maybe you have felt it by my beautiful accent. Please don't expect me to speak a lot or a ton about technical details, because I'm an attorney at profession. Before joining Web3 or the Web3 environment, I used to be a corporate attorney. I used to set up corporate structures, international structures, and I used to advise, and I still advise in family offices investing in cryptocurrencies. Just to feel a little bit about the mindset about the whole Diva team, or the people that has been behind Diva doing all this time, I end up in Diva and in all this project because I was engaged by some Ethereum OGs, and I was involved already in the ecosystem, participating in other projects. So one of the main things that I want you to, or I want to transmit is that we are working on Diva to be a common good. We never thought about it like a commercial project somehow, or even a commercial opportunity, and we always face it as a common good for everyone. So, what is Diva? Although I already spoke about it a little bit. It's a liquidity staking protocol. The main difference, or the main thing that set us apart to other options around there is that we are fully integrated, or we are a fully DVT integrated solution. Although there are other projects that are working there, and they are presenting DVT as a separate solution, as a middleware, as all of SSB, in Diva, we think that it has to be an end-to-end in order for everything to make sense, because if we want kind of to fit in DVT within another liquidity staking protocol, what we are going to get is not the optimal solution in terms of tokenomics, in terms of the economic environment, and in terms of efficiency at the end of the day. Because we always think as Diva as a software tool, but the thing is that software tool needs to be as efficient as possible in order to be attractive. One of the main things that I think that also stands us apart is that most of the projects that you can see around there is like a bunch of teams putting together because they want to be competitive and thinking in the sense that, like a company, okay, we are going to launch this, we are going to make this app, or we are going to make this protocol because we think that it's going to be something attractive for the users. In our case, it's a little bit different because it was a bunch of really OGs, people who was in Ethereum at the very beginning, or people who was engaged in staking, that were thinking on how can we improve the current ecosystem. Okay, we were on the verge of migrating from Ethereum 1 to Ethereum 2, or whatever you want to call it, and we were thinking, okay, how can we improve this and make something that works better for everyone? Actually, the idea to end up in a sort of project, or the way that we have ended up, even our fundraise round, it was more kind of an strategic solution to validate our idea in the market than to think of it as from a commercial point of view. This is truly a really open source project in the wide sense of the word. And the second thing that I think set us apart a little bit is that we truly believe that validation, not just staking, but validation, that thing that puts you with a machine and helping make Ethereum, in this case, more secure, needs to be accessible to everyone. This is one of the core ideas behind our project, and we really want that to be one of our core values, if not the core value of the project. And you will say, okay, this is all nice words. We are talking about common goods, open sourcing, something for everyone, but why it is relevant? Okay, the short answer, as everything that has or is related with Ethereum, is because Vitalik says so. That is okay, I don't want to give an explanation. Vitalik has been advocating for making staking accessible to everyone. Validation should be kind of accessible to everyone. He has certain doubts about liquid staking, and he thinks that it needs to be controlled somehow because it can endanger the network. But at the end of the day, he's always advocating for the people to get involved in the ecosystem. So answer, because Vitalik says so. But step one. But truth to be told, it is not just because Vitalik says so. It is because at the end of the day, what we want, or the people who has been engaged in Ethereum for a certain period of time, we want this network to be successful. And also the networks within the Ethereum ecosystem, such as Nosy Chain or other chains that have been in ecosystem and share the same ethos as Ethereum. We know that being a censorship resistant network is vital. If you are not censorship resistant, you lose all the credibility and you are not useful as a public good. Also, another relevant point is that liquid staking, we always tend to speak about liquid staking as DeFi or some kind of a new DeFi level. And no, we are talking about core infrastructure within the Ethereum ecosystem. We are not doing, I don't know, leverage staking or any other thing. Sorry. We are not doing leverage staking or any other thing that may lead us to think that this is just an economic tool. We are doing core infrastructure. This is a software that is going to help Ethereum to become more resilient and more, actually more useful for everyone. And the last thing is that liquid staking, or in any sense, staking pools is known to be considered one of the best or the most used cases within this new staking economy, or this new staking Ethereum. Whoop, this is moving a lot. Okay. What the networks that the risk that the network may face? Obviously, the regulatory risk. I think we all have seen the risk that we are facing with Tornado Cash. Now open like 4 days ago. I mean, regulatory crackdown on teams that are building open source software is true. I mean, it's a reality. It's not something that we are creating, and it's very real. So if a regulator thinks that Ethereum needs to be controlled, I think we can give it for granted that they will do anything at disposal to try to control Ethereum. So we have to, to do something about it. Obviously, the other two major risks, I think, are well known by everyone. Is someone who is willing to attack the network because wants to make some profit. Maybe validation is not the best way to approach or to make a profit out of it, but it's something on the table. If you can reorganize or you can set up your daily transactions, obviously there are a ton of money to settle out of there. And there are always other attacks, like just people that want to prove that they can break the things for other things. Let's, I don't know, maybe a bunch of Solana maxis, they want to attack Ethereum and to prove that Ethereum is not that resilient, and they decide to do something to harm the network. It is important, and again, I'm coming back to our ethos as a project, that we have, and I truly believe that we have to interiorize that we are not just working in other area within, I don't know, software development, the ecosystem, or in a global environment, I don't know, whatever. And this is something that I honestly think, we really have a chance to make a difference and to set up infrastructure that anybody can use. And that should be something that is taken as a duty for everyone. that is working in this ecosystem, like, okay, we are not here just to make money, or just because we are thinking that it's a nice way to, I don't know, improve our lives of our careers. We really have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to set up a difference for everyone. And maybe you think that this is absurd, okay, I'm doing a really small protocol within the whole Ethereum ecosystem, but any little piece, any little bit that we can give to the community and to help to make this a solid ground for everybody to use and help to build public goods, so be done. And not because we just want to extract some profit out of it, it's because we have to. We are committed by the trust that the people is putting on us to build something better. When we started Diva, we obviously, I mean, as everybody else was saying, we were coming from the ecosystem already, so we're looking around what was out there. And what we found, and I think this is obviously well known by everyone, is that the liquidity staking market was already almost monopolized by one actor. Actually, when we start thinking about Diva, there were two main actors. So there were two main actors, Lido and centralized exchanges participating in somehow liquidity staking. And in terms of governance, what we have seen is we analyze the competition out there, or we analyze all the other protocols, and we have seen is two different approaches. Off-chain governance, which tends to be easy for everyone kind of to participate on it, but at the end of the day, generally it depends on multi-sigs, a team that is controlling behind, and there are certain centralization risk, or at least is what we detected, and on-chain governance, which tends to be a little bit more decentralized in a sense, because you are not relying that much in multi-sigs or something that is being executed. But the thing is, what we have seen is that the teams that were before us, they took certain architectural decisions when implementing that on-chain governance to solve the problems that were there at that time, and maybe not thinking that much about that centralization risk. They were more thinking on safety of the users at the end, on the resiliency of the protocol, but that leaves us an on-chain governance with a myriad of committees, multi-sigs, oracles, and cross-dependencies that at the end of the day prejudice the whole governance system. In terms of market diversity, something that has been pretty popular last days has been self-limiting. The self-limitation, and actually has been debated in our own community, in the Diva community, is kind of the main approach. There has been a strong debate lately about shall we set limit, do we have to take this path or not? And I always say, to me, it's extremely easy to say yes. I mean, why not? Let's self-limit. But truth to be told is, either myself or anyone within my situation, which is advocating for self-limitation, we are not holding that position in the market. Actually, once Lido has said that they are not self-limiting themselves, okay, we are going to commit to self-limit, but it is like the picture I'm showing here. Okay, we are a couple of kids trying to aim for giants and try to self-limit something that maybe I'm going to achieve in years. So yeah, self-limitation. But if the leader of the market is not self-limiting itself, I mean, there's nothing we can do on that front. There we go. Why? And again, I don't think this is a good or bad position. I totally understand the Lido's point of view or Lido community point of view. The reasoning is that this is a market that winner take most. So they are saying, okay, most probably there is going to be one major actor within the ecosystem who is kind of control everything. And if somebody has to be that actor, why not myself? That at the end of the day, we are well intended. We are mostly decentralized in the governance and at different layers. So is kind of, I'm safeguarding the whole Ethereum ecosystem against other agents which maybe do not share the Ethereum ethos as ourselves, like, I don't know, Coinbase or centralized exchanges. So my personal take is, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with their point of view from a free of market or from a liberal point of view. I don't think the economies need to be intervened or the players in the market need to be intervened somehow. And I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that is a net positive result for a market. But truth to be told, I don't like a monopolistic market either. If we are Ethereum, or if Ethereum becomes a market with just one single actor in one single sector of one core infrastructure for the whole Ethereum ecosystem, we are fully dependent on that single actor. So, okay, from maybe an ideological point of view, I can agree with that, but when it comes to reality of the market, I will say, okay, maybe something should be done in order kind of to limit that perspective. And last, I honestly, and this is myself as a lawyer talking here, I don't really buy the idea of, okay, one centralized actor is going to jeopardize the whole environment, because all the centralized actors are not really wanted to get into the regulatory exposure that is going to give us if they kind of control Ethereum somehow. I'm going to speed up a little bit because so we tackle from the point of view of decentralized governance. So we are not kind of self-limit the market. We cannot enforce to other players in the market to self-limit themselves. We just kind of put our best in self-limit ourselves and hope for the best to for the rest to do the same as us. So the thing that we can tackle and that we can push others to tackle is to adopt a more decentralized approach in governance. And in our case, what we did is we set up a plan based on 3 different points to tackle the decentralization, taking into account that at the end of the day, if we are launching a new protocol as ourselves, you don't have to believe that that community, that fully decentralized community, is going to be around and to be created from one day to the other. They tend to follow people. Nobody wants to take the lead. So we had to find kind of a middle ground to kind of push the people to get together and to form that community that was going to take ultimately care of maintaining the DeFi protocol. Our plan, or the 3 steps of our plan, was based in these 3 pillars, which is, let's create that community from the ground up by selecting the people that has been involved in other communities, so they are mature enough kind of to take the lead within the community without needing us. And in terms of architecture, we have seen that other people were taking decisions based on other thinking, not just in setting up the decentralization from the very beginning. Maybe it's because in our case, as I'm a lawyer and I've been insisting and pushing the team too much to kind of distribute at least the risk on setting up something out in the wild, we are taking certain architectural decisions from a different point of view. And first, but no less important, are the core contributors that were at the very beginning with the DeFi protocol. We truly believe that we have kind of to step down a little bit and to take the community, take the lead. It's not that they don't want the people to follow us. We really want the people kind of to take the lead and help to take care of the protocol and the software that we are open sourcing and that we are giving to the public good. And the way that we are doing, I spoke a little bit about this before, is we have chosen the best people that we can find out there. And in terms of technical solutions, so something that we have given to the market, we just changed a couple of lines of codes within kind of the standard governance contract, and we created a de facto 2-token model. Any software developer here is going to say, okay, you are not creating a 2-token model because it's going to be just 1 token with a different property. I buy that, but from a legal point of view, the moment that a governor doesn't recognize a token that has not been delegated, like in our case, we are creating a de facto 2-token model because only the tokens that are delegated count in terms of participating in governance. It seems to be working so far. I'm going to speed up because I just have 10 seconds, but it seems to be working so far. I think we are on our way to achieve our goals to create a solid community, a solid decentralized community. In terms of the different points, as you have seen, I'm coming with a t-shirt of Diva, a t-shirt of Samuel Labs. I don't have a bracelet of the Staking Foundation yet, but as you'll have it, we are really decentralizing from the very beginning before releasing the protocol to mainnet. And let's try to finish here. We want to improve a ton of things. We are relying too heavily on delegation because it's the only way kind of to get a community together at the very beginning, at the early stage. But we want kind of to make it more decentralized, not rely that much on delegators. We are working extremely hard in creating a diversified geographical distribution of our validators, of all the validators. This Staking Foundation is running, or is working actually in running programs to push the decentralization from a geographical point of view. And our core value is we want the average user, anyone without almost any technical knowledge, to be able to become an Ethereum validator. I just ran out of time, so jumping on the recap, and thank you everyone for hearing me ramble a little bit.
Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Raul. We have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah.
Over here. Yes. Mona?
Can you talk a little bit about the governance? Can you talk about the governance and curation process you touched on a bit, and what the strengths are? Because obviously governance is quite a difficult thing to get right these days. Would love to hear a little bit about the design.
Yes, I mean, actually, the design, well, first of all, thank you very much for your question. In terms of design, it's nothing that innovative. I mean, the biggest difference that we have introduced is that we have kind of separated, instead of taking into account all the tokens in terms of governance, so generally is what happens on all the projects. Generally, the founders, early investors, they have a kind of a leverage power over the governance, so they can take over the governance at a certain point of time. We have divided straight away between delegated and non-delegated tokens. In terms of governance, just delegated tokens are taken into account. In order to delegate, you have to carry out an on-chain transaction, pretty simple. So I was mentioning it's just changing a couple of lines of code. What is the thing? That as long as we are either the co-founders, the early investors, we are not delegating our tokens, which is something that anybody can see on-chain. We are kind of limiting our influence over the whole ecosystem. We are refraining to take any participation on delegating the token so far. And so actually, and I think is this graph, one of the good things that we have got, doing this is that all that people that is there is people who were somehow airdropped with the token. So it's people from other communities. And as you can see, it's pretty distributed. One of the things that we want to improve, and I was saying, is a delegation model, although we are taking that delegation model because at the very beginning, especially the people is not that active, and they rather prefer to delegate it to someone. It's something that we want kind of to push a little bit towards a more decentralized approach at a later stage.
Thank you so much, Raul. That's time for us, and we'll keep it moving here in about 1 minute. Thank you, Raul. Give him a round of applause.